Hey guys, SummerSlam 2018 went down tonight. It is the second biggest pay-per-view of the WWE calendar behind WrestleMania. So what happened? On paper it looked good, looked like it could be a potential show of the year candidate, but did the action live up to all the hype surrounding this event? Let's take a look in my SummerSlam 2018 thoughts video. Here we go. First match on the card was on the kickoff show. It was Almas and Vega taking on the team of Rusev and Lana. Nothing too special with this match. It's kind of a mixed tag team match you'd probably see on Raw or SmackDown, so if you didn't catch it on the kickoff show, you didn't miss much. In the end though, Vega and Almas got the win over Rusev and Lana when Vega pinned Lana by having her feet on the ropes. So it looks like this rivalry will continue based on the shady ending. The finish of the match though, never a doubt about it. Pretty obvious that Almas and Vega were going to get the win here. They needed a win on a big show like SummerSlam over an established team like Rusev and Lana to help build their credibility to everybody who was not familiar with their work in NXT, so the decision here made sense. The next match on the card was the Cruiserweight Championship match. Drew Gulak taking on Cedric Alexander. Alexander, the reigning and defending Cruiserweight champ. This was a really good match. This was the first good match of the night. Alexander and Gulak delivered. There was a cool spot where Gulak had the Gulak on Alexander in the ropes, which looked pretty painful. And in the end, Alexander was able to retain his Cruiserweight Championship when he pinned Gulak after a crazy finishing sequence that you had to see to believe. It was just non-stop action after action after action. Very cool to see, and this was a great way, I think, by WWE to expose the mainstream wrestling crowd to 205 Live. They no longer feature the Cruiserweights on Raw, and I do not like that they put championship matches on the kickoff show. I feel like that should be on the pay-per-view, but I can understand why they did it here with the Cruiserweights no longer being featured on Raw. I'm going to try and expose that division to as many people as possible, and the only way to do that is to have it on the free kickoff show. So in the end, Alexander picks up the win and retains his title over Drew Gulak. After that, it was the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The B Team defending against the Revival. Okay match. The B Team's kind of been skating by on their luck the past couple weeks ever since they won the Raw Tag Team Championships. This was no different. The end saw the Revival. They had Curtis Axel pinned, but then Bo Dallas got tangled up on the rope, stumbled backwards, tripped over Axel, and ended up like rolling the pin over. So Axel was on top, and the ref counted 1, 2, 3. So the B Team retained the Raw Tag Team Championships. Based on that crazy ending, I don't expect this rivalry between these two teams to be over, because it looks like the Leaders of Worlds might be over as a team, so B Team needs somebody else new to feud with, so I could definitely see the Rivals stepping up and filling in those shoes, or possibly the Authors of Pain could fill that role as well and just dismantle the B Team en route to winning the Tag Team Championships and go on a dominant run, much like the Bludgeon Brothers have done on SmackDown. And after that match, it was the first official match of the SummerSlam card, and it was the best match of the night in my opinion. Total show stealer here. Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose in his corner, my boy, just one sporting the shirt, taking on Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre in his corner. Great match, tons of action. Ziggler and Rollins delivered. Ambrose and McIntyre played a very interesting role on the outside of the ring. There was that hidden elements if Ambrose would get involved or McIntyre would get involved, and then surrounding the match was the possibility of Ambrose turning heel on Rollins, and that did not happen. But toward the end of the match, Rollins pulled off a 6-6 spot. He did an inverted superplex into the Falcon's Arrow on Ziggler, which was crazy. And then there was a part where Rollins got busted wide open, was bleeding from his head. Ambrose went slammed into the stairs by McIntyre, and then Rollins walked into a super kick, or a zigzag. I thought that was it for sure. Rollins kicked out. Then Ambrose got his revenge on McIntyre, hit Dirty Deeds on the outside of the ring, allowed Rollins to hit the curb stomp on Ziggler, pins him for the win, and is the new Intercontinental Champion. And after the match, I was expecting Ambrose to hit a Dirty Deeds on Rollins. That did not happen, so 2/3 of the Shield, they're still united as of now, but you never know. Tomorrow night on Raw, I could definitely see Ziggler wanting his rematch and Ambrose possibly getting involved after the match and attacking Rollins, set up a feud between him and Rollins going forward. Or I could see WWE continuing this feud as a tag team. Rollins and Ambrose taking on the tag team of Ziggler and McIntyre for a little bit. but that remains to be seen. But overall, this match, phenomenal. Match of the night, must-see match of the entire pay-per-view in my opinion. Rollins with Ambrose taking on Ziggler with McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. After that, it was the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers. This was another good match. It felt like it was building up to be just as good as the Intercontinental title match until the end. Stupid ending, a disqualification ending. I think it was Rowan hit Big E with one of those big sledgehammers they carry around, so that was a disqualification. There was a cool spot though. Xavier Woods dropped a massive elbow drop from the top rope to Harper on the floor below outside the ring. That was really cool. But yeah, as I said, this match ended in disqualification, so this feud is going to continue. I hate the disqualification ending, especially when the match is getting really, really good. So New Day gets the win, but Bludgeon Brothers still have the belts. After that match, it was the Money in the Bank on the line match. Kevin Owens taking on Braun Strowman. I legitimately thought Kevin Owens was going to walk away from this match with the Money in the Bank briefcase because of the stipulation. The stipulation was if Strowman lost the match, Owens would get the briefcase. So it wasn't like a title where you have to get it via pin or submission. If Strowman got disqualified or counted out, Owens would get the briefcase, and I thought that was going to happen. It did not. Strowman's totally squashed Kevin Owens. There's a very brutal spot where Strowman just slammed Kevin Owens, I think it was a choke slam, onto the ramp, and he bounced off the ramp, Kevin Owens. It looked super painful. And considering how this was only the third match of the night, and Strowman easily got the win, I figured he would cash in later in the night. And we'll get to that later. But hopefully this rivalry between Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman's over. Strowman can move into the main event scene. Owens can move on to something bigger and better aside from being Braun Strowman's personal jobber. The next match on the card was the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte versus Becky Lynch versus the defending champ Carmella. Crowd was heavily behind Becky Lynch. I'm happy to hear that. Becky Lynch is my favorite woman on the roster. I was pulling for her to win this match. I was mad when they added Charlotte to the match a couple weeks ago, and the crowd did not like the final decision of this match. Overall, the match was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but Charlotte got the win, and the crowd hated it. She is the female Roman Reigns, in my opinion, always getting the win, always getting gifted these opportunities, and at the very end of the match, her and Becky were hugging it out, as best friends do, and Becky just decked her and went to town on Charlotte, and the crowd was eating it up. I was loving it. I like that they're finally going forward and getting behind Becky Lynch as a heel. I am full support of that. I'm just full support of getting Becky Lynch the belt, hopefully, at the next pay-per-view or something. The crowd was definitely behind it because they were chanting, "You deserve it," toward Becky because she does deserve the belt. And they were booing Charlotte, which I am very, very much behind because I'm not on the Charlotte train. I'm on the Becky train. I want Becky to get that belt, and hopefully this feud going forward, it should be really good since they're two of the best women wrestlers in the business. And hopefully it ends with Becky Lynch finally getting the SmackDown Women's Championship. Next match after that, the WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. I was stunned it was this early. I thought it'd be either the last match or the second last match on the card. You don't have a world title match in the middle of your card, but that's whatever. Overall, really, really good match until the end. You're going to see why I say that, because it was getting really, really good. The action, it was a perfect build, I thought. It was getting really intense, some really cool spots, and then there was a part where Samoa Joe just slammed AJ Styles into the steel stairs. Styles' head's busted open. Samoa Joe gets a microphone, and he'd been cutting these sharp, sick promos all night, and he cut another one during the middle of the match saying, basically telling Styles' wife and daughter that he's going to be their new daddy. That just sent AJ Styles over the edge. He sends himself through Samoa Joe, through a barricade, and just starts beating the holy crap out of Samoa Joe with a steel chair. Match ends in disqualification, which was really, really lame. So there is going to be a rematch at Hell in a Cell. Probably going to be Hell in a Cell, considering how personal this rivalry between the two has been. And I am looking forward to that. But AJ Styles gets the win here. AJ Styles retains the title, but Samoa Joe gets the win via disqualification. Not a fan at all of this disqualification ending, considering this is the second SmackDown Championship match on the SummerSlam card to end in a disqualification finish. Always a weak cop-out, especially on a pay-per-view. Don't do that. and WWE did it twice tonight, and you don't do that with a WWE Championship match. After that, it was The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. This was a feud, I think, 8 years in the making, and the match itself, it was okay. I'd say it's good, but I was expecting a lot more considering the history these two guys have. When Bryan came into WWE as this heralded indie scene star, and he was The Miz's rookie, and then eventually surpassed The Miz in popularity. And then when Bryan had to retire, Miz got to equal levels of popularity. Then Daniel Bryan came back, and you had the makings of a great match with this story, but something was just off in the ring, and there was just another shady ending here. Maurice was at ringside. There's a part toward the end of the match where The Miz went over to her, she handed him brass knuckles, and he just decks Daniel Bryan in the face, gets the pin via Dirty Mean. So it looks like this is going to be settled at Hell in a Cell going forward, which I had no problem with. Hopefully they can redeem this match. As I said, it was good, but it was just slow. Felt like there was something missing. It didn't really get out of that next gear. And yeah, so The Miz gets the win here, but I definitely feel like there's going to be a rematch at Hell in a Cell, possibly inside the actual cell itself. The following match on the card was Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin, and this was a squash match for Finn Balor, but it wasn't just regular Finn Balor, it was a Demon King making his pay-per-view return after nearly a year. I did not see that coming. I was very excited, very happy to see the Demon King back in full force, considering he wasn't at WrestleMania, wasn't at the Royal Rumble. It was like the first time in, I really think, a year that we had seen the Demon King on WWE television, so very happy to see that. And he just destroyed Baron Corbin. Finn Balor looked good. I hope this is the end of the rivalry. I'd like to see Finn Balor do something else, possibly get pushed up in that main event scene, now that his feud with Baron Corbin is hopefully over. As for Corbin, he is still the Constable, the pain in the butt to Kurt Angle, and the suck up to Stephanie McMahon, so there's a variety of options you can go with Corbin moving forward. Next match on the card was the United States Championship match, Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a good match, I thought. It started out with Nakamura and Jeff Hardy mimicking each other. They kind of have similar characters. They're both enigmatic, very charismatic. The crowd connects to both of them. And in the end, though, there is a sick spot. Jeff Hardy hit 3 twists of fate, hit a Swanton Bomb, was going for another Swanton Bomb on the LED ring apron that faces the main entrance to the ring. He missed, and he just crashed hard on that ring apron. It looked very, very painful. Nakamura capitalized, hits the Kinshasa on Jeff Hardy for the pin, and retains the United States Championship. And then Randy Orton came out to the ring. Looked like he was going to attack Jeff Hardy, but then just turned around and walked right back up the ramp. So, very interested to see where this whole Nakamura, Orton, Jeff Hardy dynamic continues from here. The next match on the card was the Raw Women's Championship match. Alexa Bliss defending her title against Ronda Rousey. I didn't think this match was going to end cleanly, but it did. And I didn't think Ronda Rousey was going to get the win, but she did. She just destroyed Alexa Bliss. It reminded me of Chyna versus Ivory from WrestleMania 17. Rousey just easily manhandled Alexa Bliss throughout, got her to submit. And yeah, so she's your new Raw Women's Champion. It's pretty cool that she is the first woman to hold both the UFC Women's Championship and the WWE Women's Championship. But I wonder if it's too much too fast. She's only been wrestling since January, and she's already the Raw Women's Champ. So I wonder how long fans are going to be behind her until they turn on her, considering how big the Rock has been that's been strapped to her back and shooting her up into superstardom in the WWE. So usually that's what happens when people are pushed too much, too fast. Just look at Roman Reigns, and hopefully it doesn't happen to Ronda Rousey, because she's had that successful UFC career. But I'm just wondering if when that shininess of that UFC career will turn off for WWE fans, and when they might turn on Rousey. The next match on the card was the Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for what seemed like the millionth time. This rivalry has not been good ever since it started in 2015. WWE just could not get it right, so I'm hoping this is the final chapter. Before the match, though, Braun Strowman came out, said he was not going to cash in behind their back. He was warning them that he was going to cash in on whoever won the match tonight. So he was standing outside the ring, waiting, and then as soon as the bell rung, Roman Reigns came out on fire, hit a couple Superman punches, hit a couple spears on Lesnar, and then went for another spear. Lesnar was able to counter that into a submission. Lesnar regained control of the match, and there was a spot where Roman Reigns was going for a spear on Lesnar. Lesnar dodged it. Reigns went flying out of the ring, hit Strowman, and then Lesnar gets out of the ring, hits an F5 on Strowman, beats Strowman with the Money in the Bank briefcase and tosses it way up the ramp, and gets a chair and beats Strowman with it some more. So Strowman's officially out of it. Lesnar gets back in the ring, eats a spear from Reigns. Reigns gets the pin, the win. He's your new Universal Champion. Reigns versus Lesnar hopefully is finally finished. Just 3 years of a bad rivalry, bad storytelling. And then Strowman, he did not cash in tonight. Doesn't mean he won't cash in possibly at Hell in a Cell. He has the briefcase, so he can say, I want to cash in at Hell in a Cell. And considering what he said, how he's not going to cash in behind somebody's back, I could definitely see them doing that on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. And yeah, that was SummerSlam in a nutshell. Looks like Lesnar's on his way out to UFC possibly. Roman Reigns is the new Universal Champion. AJ Styles is still a WWE Champion. Seth Rollins is the new Intercontinental Champion. And so far at least, my boy, Cincinnati's own Dean Ambrose, is still a good guy. But for how long, that remains to be seen on WWE TV. If you like this video, feel free to give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Check out my website, cincyfanzone.blogspot.com. Also give me a follow on Twitter at Cincy Fan Zone. I was live tweeting during the entire SummerSlam event. Overall, it was a good show. It was entertaining. I would recommend watching it if you missed it. Definitely check out Rollins versus Ziggler with Ambrose and McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. And that's all I got for you. So as always, guys, thanks for watching.